Silent Hill is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I was so excited to hear that we're finally getting a new addition to the franchise, that being Silent Hill F. It seems like Silent Hill is finally making a comeback with this game, plus the Silent Hill 2 remake, and we're finally getting a Silent Hill 1 remake soon, as they just announced it not too long ago. Silent Hill fans right now are getting fed pretty well, and Silent Hill F overall is a pretty decent experience. Silent Hill F takes place in 1960s Japan, which is a totally and completely different setting compared to the other Silent Hills, which take place in the West, which usually includes Eastern horror mixed in with a Western setting, which is pretty cool to see that Silent Hill F is going for an Eastern setting with Eastern horror. In Silent Hill F, you play as a main character, Hanako Shimizu, who is dealing with the troubles of family trauma with her father and her mother, and is also being looked down upon because she is going against what her father wants and has her to be in an arranged marriage. The reason why she is being forced into an arranged marriage because her older sister was as well, and also because her father is in debt and he is being paid for her to be into an arranged marriage. Her father is also very abusive and is an alcoholic, and the mother usually defends him when he acts out. So of course Hanako hates both of them, which leads to Hanako leaving the house in the beginning of the game to go see her friends, and then a mysterious fog comes, of course, like usual Silent Hill, and a bunch of crazy shit happens. She ends up running away from the fog and meeting up with two of her friends, that being Shu and Riko. Now Hanako and Shu are actually really close. They actually both grew up together playing games together, and she is very boyish, the main character, which is also something the other characters make fun of her for being, because she hung out with that guy growing up, and she was also an athlete, so she would always get picked on for being too boyish and not feminine enough. But Shu actually likes her a lot, and likes that part about her. They both grew up together, got along, and Shu always had feelings for her. But Shu was also very disappointed because Haniko is going into an arranged marriage, and also Haniko has somewhat feelings for him as well. And while all three of them are hanging out, Riko gets very jealous because she actually likes Shu, and she looks down upon Haniko for being too boyish and for liking him. So there's an interesting dynamic between the three characters, and it's actually pretty interesting. I'm not going to say too much about it anymore because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I want this to be a spoiler-free review, so I'm just going to end it there. That's just like the base story, and I actually thought the story was really good. And it's definitely one of the strongest points of this game. I also like some of the plot twists, and the endings are actually really well. And I think overall the story and the endings are probably some of the best in the franchise, honestly. I wouldn't say the story is as good as maybe Silent Hill 2 in my opinion, but it's pretty close to being up there. I like the different approach they did with the story, and yeah, it shows a pretty good lesson on life and the hardships that Hanako has to go through. Now the atmosphere and visuals of this game are really nice. I love the creature designs. I think they're really creepy looking and fit the theme of what they're going for pretty well. Now the atmosphere is pretty good too. It feels a lot like, how Silent Hill should be. It's very foggy. I also really enjoy some of the sound effects they use, the atmospheric music they use. It all fits the Silent Hill theme pretty well. And overall, I never had a single problem with the atmosphere or the sound choices they went for. I think it fits how Silent Hill should be pretty well. Also, this game looks and runs really well, which is surprising because this is on Unreal Engine 5. And well, you know how Unreal Engine 5 is with other games, it's pretty bad. But with this game, it ran pretty well. I had little to no issues, maybe little stutters and glitches here and there, but it wasn't too bad. Like how Silent Hill 2 remake was when that came out. It was very rough around the edges when it came to running it, because of course Unreal Engine 5. I feel like every company has Unreal Engine 5, doesn't know how to optimize it correctly, but this company seemed like they know what they're doing with this game and how to optimize it with Unreal Engine 5. So that was a relief while playing the game, not having to deal with that bullshit. Now, one of my major issues with this game is, of course, a lot of people's similar issues, and that being the combat. Combat feels really weird. It feels like they're trying to go for a Souls-like and try to make it more difficult. But at the same time, the combat just felt like it just didn't belong. There's so many times I was trying to swing my weapon and I'll just hit the side of a wall because the halls were too narrow. I'll just get cornered, and really annoying things like that. Also, it feels really stiff and clunky, the combat overall, and the dodging feels kind of unresponsive. The stamina system is a little bit annoying, but some of it felt pretty decent, like the focus mechanic, the counter mechanic, but everything else is kind of annoying. The combat in this game is very focused as well. You'll be fighting a lot in this game, more than any other Silent Hill. There's a lot of boss fights, There's a lot of just enemies that come at you like every moment. I feel like this game never gives you a break, which is also very annoying because Silent Hill was never known for its combat. Combat was always like a side thing to the Silent Hill franchise. Like it never had good combat. And this game just proves that, yeah, combat for Silent Hill is not the best choice, and especially not making it the focus of the game. I also feel like how the game is so combat focused that it makes it less scary. Nothing really feels like a threat to you. You just smash everything. Pause. But you don't also get guns either. It's all melee, which is fine. And which is something I was excited for actually, was to have only melee weapons. But sometimes I feel like I just wish I had a gun because some of this combat is very annoying. Sometimes I'll just try to run by and avoid it because it'll just be very irritating to fight. Especially on hard mode. On hard mode, like they have extra damage, they have extra health, and it doesn't even feel harder, it just feels more of a chore to fight the enemy. And speaking of the enemies, they reuse a lot of like the same 4 enemies a lot. Like they barely have any variety when it comes to enemies, which is annoying because they made the game very combat focused, yet there's a very lack of like variety when it came to creatures. But the creatures I did have, they look cool, and I did not enjoy fighting them, but they did look cool and they fit the atmosphere, so at least I'll give them that. And even though the combat was really annoying, for the boss fights, it didn't feel that annoying, but it was still a bit annoying, especially on a harder difficulty. I had actually lowered to like the normal difficulty for combat because of how annoying it was and how many times I was dying, and maybe because it's a skill issue, but it seems like a lot of people were having the same issue, that the combat wasn't really that good. It was more of a thing that you just want to do and get over with. Another small issue I had with this game that I don't see that many people talk about is the exploration. Now, exploring this game feels very linear. It feels like most of the time you're walking in one path. Very rarely the game lets you like explore different sections, and when they do, it's pretty interesting. That there's this one time where you're going into like this building and you're exploring shit, and it's pretty cool. You find out what happened to this doctor, and the game like jumps at you, and it's pretty good things like that. But most of the time you just walk down like this alley or this corner around the house, and it's just, oh, like a med kit, oh, like an offering. Like you don't really get rewarded too much for exploring, and there's very lack of it. I really wish this game was more open and played more like the Silent Hill 2 remake when it came to exploring, and when it also came with the combat as well. So yeah, for that part, for the combat and exploring, I felt very disappointed in, which sucks because that is a majority of the game. But another majority of the game is the puzzles. And well, I think the puzzles in this game are actually pretty decent. They're nothing like super hard or super easy. They're kind of like more in the middle. I played the puzzles on the hardest difficulty and didn't really have any problems besides like maybe one at the end because I got lazy and just ended up searching it up. So yeah, the puzzles, they don't really try anything new. They're kind of just your typical survival horror puzzles that you probably see in Resident Evil or the other Silent Hill games, which is nothing bad with that. I thought they were fine and really had little to no issues with them. Now that being said, I thought this game was pretty decent. I didn't think it was the best Silent Hill, but it was pretty alright. I enjoyed the puzzles, the atmosphere and story. The combat and exploring in this game were, for me at least, the worst parts of it. But overall, I still think it's a decent experience. I don't think it's worth $70 though. I would definitely wait for this game to be on sale to try it. But when it's on sale, I definitely suggest picking it up. So overall, I'll probably give this game like a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's decent, but there's a lot of problems with this game. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Kaya TV, and I'll see you guys in the next one.